Hi, everybody. My name is David, and one of my favorite things to do in the entire world is to draw cartoons. Today, I'm going to show you how to draw a character that I draw more than almost any other, and that's my character from a Twin Cities PBS project, and here's how you do it. Okay, so here's my character. This is how I choose to portray myself when I'm telling my story on Twin Cities PBS. But I like the shape of this character because it's really versatile, and you can change just a couple of simple features and make him or her look like almost anything you want. It's also really nice that it works well with horizontal television framing. The frame of your TV is really wide, and these shorter characters, I think, work well in the television space. So, how do you draw this character? I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to start with a pencil, just a normal pencil like everyone has at home, and a clean sheet of paper. And I'm going to draw a little bit more darkly than I normally would as I draw the pencil lines, just so you can see them. And I like to start at the eyes and work my way out. So you just kind of draw some ovals for the eyes, make the nose next. And the eyes are always the part that people really tend to look at. So if you don't get the eyes right, you can start over right at the beginning before you draw the rest, but those look good. So you put in the eyes. The face is really, the basic shape of his head is just kind of a rectangle like that. So I'm going to put an ear on the back, some neck, forehead, and then for my character, I do sort of a curly top like that. That's how my hair gets if I let it grow out far enough. And then I do some collars. I wear dress shirts at work a lot, and I like the way neckties look on cartoons, and I often have to wear a necktie, so I put that in next. And you'll see a lot of cartoonists, they kind of block out the character in advance in shapes, hands and things like that. And if you're newer to this, that is a good technique. It helps you place things. But once you get familiar with a character, you sort of do everything in relation to everything else. So you'll find after a while that this becomes a little bit unnecessary if you know the character well. But if it helps, feel free to sketch it out in advance to get the proportion right. Then I just keep adding features like the necktie. I do the shirt really fast and squiggly because the shirt's supposed to look a little rumpled, so you can't really get that wrong. I just kind of zigzag it in. Then some arms, sleeves, and then I love to make really big hands because I think hands are very expressive, especially when you're trying to grab things or hold props. Big hands really display the actions of the character, so I like to make them ridiculously big. Arm, sleeves. Let's just do another waving hand on this one. Some legs. And then the feet. So there you can see the basic pencil outline, and you can pretty much tell where we're going already. It's all there. And now to ink it, I'm just going to use a Sharpie. You can use pretty much anything for this stage. A lot of people like ink and brush. Sharpie is just fast and easy. They are kind of stinky markers. Some people don't like the smell. But then you just do what's called inking your cartoon. You go over the pencil lines, and the goal is never to trace your pencil lines. The pencil lines are the guide, and you improve on them as you go. For example, I want to move that ear in just slightly. You'll see I did not follow the pencil line, and that was on purpose. Smile. The eyes are interesting because ovals are kind of hard to draw even when you're experienced. And so I allow them to be misshapen. I think that just adds character to the character, so to speak. And once I get done with the face, I can start to move more quickly because a lot of this is really precise lines aren't necessarily what you want at this point. You want it to look a little gestural and have a little bit of movement of your hand. You can really tell when I do the hands there that I'm not really sweating the details. For example, watch on this hand, I draw the thumb, but then you just kind of, you go really kind of fast and just let it be what it is. Then the necktie. Now, if I were doing this for broadcast, I would probably do a little more nuance in the line. I'd have it kind of be thin at times and fat in others, and add just a little bit more variation to the line. But since I want you to see this kind of quickly, all my lines are about the same thickness. Add some shading. The shoes are really fun because you just scribble them in. Don't worry about coloring them, just scribble them in. Gives him more character. Some ground lines to show some depth there. A little bit of shading. And then what I will often do is go back and reinforce some of the lines in different places where there would be darker shadow around the collar, maybe on the arms a little bit. I add spots to the necktie just to give some fabric pattern there and differentiate it from the rest of the character. Hands are a good place to add extra stuff. But there. All right, so after you finish all that, you can take a big art eraser like this. Pretty much any eraser would work. I don't use the eraser on the pencil just because it runs out so quickly. I think most artists will default to a larger eraser and you can actually cover a lot more ground. And then you can erase out the pencil lines and see more clearly what you created with the ink. And you do have to be a little careful when you're doing this because if you push too hard, you can crumple the paper, which happens too much. It can be frustrating. So just be a little careful as you're erasing so you don't crumple up your paper as you go. And then you can see you pretty much have it. You know, there's a quick version of the character we started with. And that's my David character. I hope you will use your imagination and come up with your own version. And if I was doing this for PBS, I would then scan it into my computer, do some coloring and line work there, and get an image like this to put on the show I work on. So anyway, I'd love to see your character if you make one yourself, especially if you make one that looks like you. Send it to us, share. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks for drawing.